We're back at Villa Park for the second time this season. After a hard-fought draw against Newcastle for the first game, it's the turn of Crystal Palace. This time around, Villa's foes from last season. It's sure to be another fascinating battle between Oliver Glasner and Unai Emery. Back at the Fortress, Villa Park, 19 Premier League games unbeaten at home. Palace will have to be at their very best to take anything away from today. This is Matchday Live, kickoff at 7 p.m. My name is Kate Tracy. Alongside me, three former villains, Elmo Al-Mohammadi. I knew I was going to do that at some point. James Chester and Alan McAnally. Elmo, you're looking very windswept there. How are you feeling?
I don't like the wind, you know. It's been wet today, so yeah, hopefully it's going to be better when it's kick-off time.
Yeah, hopefully so. We've had every single bit of weather chucked at us today, Alan, and it's coming down again now. The sprinklers are out as well, so we're trying to stay as dry as we possibly can.
I had a little look, and we should be dry for kick-off, I think. But then again, we'll see. Listen, it's a big game for us tonight. I hope the lads are properly prepared. You know, they've had a whole week to get this right after a disappointing result against Brentford. And the biggest problem, I think, when speaking to some of the fans, is that they're apprehensive because they were a bit of a team last year that we just couldn't cope with in any sense. And the goals they scored against us, I mean, they're a weaker team than obviously with the likes of Eze, etc., not available for them anymore. But it's a big night for us, and we need to make sure we, A, keep that record as a not beaten at Villa Park, but more importantly, pick up 3 points.
James, great to have you back again. What have you made of the season so far?
It's not the start I think we would have wanted. But being back at Villa Park and 19 unbeaten, like you say, it's the perfect opportunity to put that right. There is a little bit of apprehension with Palace's record against us recently, but I'm sure we'll hopefully have a positive result today.
7 p.m. on a Sunday, Elmo. This is a bit different for us.
Of course, yeah. I think it's the first time I've seen it, you know, but you're going to get a lot of games on Sunday night, you know, this season, because a lot of teams playing in Europe on Thursdays. So it's this game is being picked up, you know, on the TV. It was Friday, supposed to be Friday, and then has to move it. So it's the only time we can play. So yeah, like Alan said, it's going to be a difficult game. You know, Crystal Palace, can see the record against them in the last couple of years, but they lost their best player, you know, which is Eze, and then they got some good players, you know, going forward. You know, Sarr is a good player as well. But today is important for us. We only got 1 point out of 2 games, so back at Villa Park under the lights, so should be a cracking one. Hopefully 3 points for us.
Hopefully so. Alan, you were going to say something.
I was only going to say, when we talked about the 7 o'clock kickoff, I think it's not so much the lads. You know, as a football player, you could play at midnight. If it's midnight on a Thursday night, you're like, okay, you know, we prepare, we get our time schedule right, you know, sleep, eating, preparation, etc. But for the people, for the punters coming here, filling the place tonight, having work on a Monday morning, it's probably them that I feel a little bit. Does it get me? Is it getting us?
You're doing a good job there.
This has become a Matchday Live tradition now.
That's okay.
Matchday Live tradition that we will get caught by the sprinklers at some point. Luckily, we've actually got Shield. We've got a defence system for once. Well,
yeah, exactly.
Half of you does.
Well, half of me, yeah. I'll be all right. I'll be fine. It's okay. It's a brand new suit. It's okay. It doesn't matter. But seriously, for the fans to come and, you know, and give us that support that we want, it's important that, you know, they don't get too cheesed off with the 7 o'clock. It's a Sunday night. It's a terrible time. We want to be playing on a Saturday or even the earlier kick-off on Sunday, the 2 p.m. or 2:30 or 4:30 or something like that. So we need to deal with it. Players not so much. I'm not too interested in what the players think about it, because they need to be ready to rock and roll tonight, and I expect them to be like that.
Should we get some team news? We have got it locked in then.
I was going to tell you, but I'll let you give us it.
The first time you see it, starting with Aston Villa. We have Marco Bizot in goal, Matty Cash at right back. Ezri Konsa comes back in following his suspension that ruled him out of the Brentford game. Alongside Tyrone Mings, our captain John McGinn, Yuri Tielemans, Ollie Watkins up top. Donyell Marlon gets his start. Ian Matson at left back, Morgan Rogers and Evan Gesand also getting his start. That is Aston Villa on to Crystal Palace. Dean Henderson in goal, Daniel Munoz, Tyreek Mitchell, Maxence Lacroix, Mark Gahey gets his start today, the captain. Ismail Assar, what a nightmare he's been for Villa in recent seasons. Jean-Philippe Mateta up top, Kamada. Will Hughes comes back into it following the setback of his injury. Adam Wharton and Chris Richards. Right, lads, starting with Aston Villa. Elmo, did you expect to see that start? Evan Gesand and also Donyell Marlon?
Yeah, regarding all the injuries, you know, big Onana, big hamstring injury in the midweek, so Kamara is out for a couple of weeks as well. So of course, yeah, you know, Malen had a great pre-season. He looked lively, so he deserved to start. You know, he should start, you know, against Brentford, but manager decided no. So yeah, it's good to see him starting today. You know, likes of Ian Maatsen as well. First start for him. Came late to a pre-season, so he's fully fit now, ready to go back. Ezri Konsa is back to the starting lineup as well. You know, Martinez is not in the squad for whatever reason, but yeah, it looks good. It looks going forward. You know, a lot of options going forward. Morgan needs to start as well. His game going. You know, in the first couple of games, you know, he's been quiet. So hopefully, Oli Watkins back in the score sheet today. They've been picked for England squad. You know, Morgan, Oli, and Ezri. So it's good for them. Give him more confidence. So hopefully, yeah, can get in the scoreline today.
That driving force going forwards that we're hoping to see from Evan Gassant. Have you figured out, just from seeing that team lineup for the first time, where exactly he's going to play?
Nope.
I was looking to you guys. Left, do you think?
Play left.
I think
Malen in the right.
Yeah, I think
Oli up top.
with the lack of goals in the first two games, I think it was evident that there'd be some more attacking players in the team. But I'll go with my friend there that he's going to play left and Marlon right.
But do we expect
by the way,
that?
I was worried he was going to play in goals with the way this was going on. But we won't talk about that.
Did we expect that though? When we saw the signing of Evan Gassant, we know how versatile he is across the front line, and you almost got the feeling that when Unai Emery spoke about him, the option was there for him on the left, and of course with Jacob Ramsey now at Newcastle, that has opened up that position. And do you think this was always a bit of a plan?
I'd love to say when a plan comes to fruition, and that's the way it is. I don't know. I think that the managers picked a really good team today because of exactly what Elmo said in terms of the attacking options that we've got and the injuries that we've picked up midweek. Then I think that's probably as strong as it can possibly go, genuinely. The goalkeeper coming in did absolutely nothing wrong against Newcastle. I thought he was very good. And obviously I think the manager's hands are tied in terms of, you know, wanting to bring players in, wanting to strengthen the squad, as well as try and keep in some of the best players we've got. So I have no problem with that team tonight, and I expect us to score goals and, more importantly, take the 3 points away from Palace. Let's
talk about Marco Bizot in goal then, James, and how well he did in the first game of the season. Of course, Emi Martinez was ruled out due to the suspension because of the red card at United, but he stood up to Newcastle and then some, so we know we've got a very, very able deputy there.
Yeah, I don't think it would have been easy for him coming straight into the team, playing at Villa Park and the pressure that brings. But I think to be down to 10 men and for him to keep a clean sheet will give him a huge boost of confidence. And yeah, I'd expect him to continue in that vein. And
I thought he looked solid, James.
He did, yeah. He did. He looked like he'd been
not nervous or anything.
Yeah.
I thought he was really good.
Yeah, I think that always helps with a goalkeeper. I think as a centre half, if you play behind or in front, sorry, of a goalkeeper who has that presence, he calms everyone down as well. And yeah, it's nice to see Ezri back too today.
Definitely so. Like you say, of course, he suffered that suspension against Brentford then. So back into it now, just the one-game ban. Left back, Ian Maatsen, which is very exciting. We weren't sure exactly which way we were going to go here. But it is interesting, that left-hand side now has got a very different look to it. It might just shake Crystal Palace up. Yeah,
the manager looking to, you know, using some players going forward more, you know, look more defensively. But Ian, like I said, you know, he came back to the pre-season late, you know, had some international duties with Holland over the summer. So very good player going forward, you know, so get this option, you know, and the left-hand side. I think Morgan will play on the right, you know, and Malen will be just behind Oli, you know, been training on this system. So hopefully, yeah, we're going to have some good options, you know, going forward. But John McGinn as well, you know, coming back to the midfield with Tielemans, it gives you that solid in the midfield as well, because Palace, they got a very good, you know, midfield. And like I said, you know, Ismail Assar, he's been scoring against us in the last, 4 or 5 games. So today we need to keep him quiet, you know, Mateta as well. These two players, they are very, very dangerous, and then they can make problems for you. And then Konsa coming back with Tyrone Mings as well. So it looks solid at the back for us. So hopefully, yeah, like I said, you know, 3 points today is so important before the break. When you go into international break, so important. Before 15 players going away, you need that confidence before all the players going away next week.
Alan, should we talk about Crystal Palace then? Because for all that we talk about the amount of moving parts Aston Villa have got going on, Crystal Palace have got just as many. Yeah. We've seen with the Alexander Isak situation up at Newcastle how not to deal or handle a want of a move. Mark Gahey, loads of talk about him obviously going to Liverpool. He's the captain in the starting lineup tonight for Palace. This is how you handle it, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he's been fantastic, the manager, Oliver Glasner, and I think quite rightly gets plenty of pats in the back for the way. I mean, for God's sakes, they won the FA Cup. They've just won. What was it? What do they call it now? The Charity Shield, or whatever
yes,
they call it. You know, they win that as well. They have a winning mentality. Liverpool have actually, I think I'm right in saying Liverpool have offered money, Elmo, for Gahey, is that right? I think maybe 35, 40 million, and yet they're like, no, we're going to stick with him, and that means, does he stay for another season then, and he goes for a free at the end of next season? But he's a wonderful football player. He was one of the reasons that they were so successful in the FA Cup last year. Obviously, Eze and Sarr and Mateta, okay, and the boy Wharton in the middle of the park. Richards has been no more than a rocket in defence as well. So, but he's been really good, Mark Gahey, and it'll be interesting to see tonight. You know, I mean, his head's obviously been turned. So, you know, when someone like Liverpool comes in for you, you genuinely have to, just have a little glance and think, well, maybe. And it'll be down to the relationship that he has with, obviously, Crystal Palace and the manager, whether or not they actually accept that. And this might be his last game for them, though. But he's a wonderful football player. I'd be quite happy if he came to Aston Villa.
Wouldn't you just? Exactly that. Now, just before we go to an advert break, James, I want to ask you about Eze. And we've seen this with Palace over the years. We saw it with Elise, Eze, plenty of players before these two as well, where every time you think that they've lost their talisman, they seem to be able to come back again and someone manages to fill that void. Could that be Sarr, or are you expecting them to suffer with the loss of Eze?
I think he'll certainly be a big miss. He's a player with a lot of quality. I remember playing against him here when he came back off loan to QPR, and we didn't know much about him at the time, and he pretty much ran the game. So he is going to be a huge miss. I think Palace in recent times have had a knack of recruiting well in those forward positions. But I think for the Villa side today, there's a lot of pace in there with the changes that have been made, and I think that is important against a Palace side who have an awful lot of pace up the top end of the pitch.
Yeah, the pace is going to be fascinating today. I wasn't exactly anticipating that, so it's going to be fascinating to see. Plenty more build-up to today's game on the back of this advert break.
There are so many words, man. If I had to choose one, I'd say magic. Yeah, magic for sure.
The whole end, there's nothing like it. I think for a lot of people, football is a religion and the whole end is the church.
This is Villa. The fans expect us to win, and the whole end is the driving force behind that.
It represents the centre of the club.
The whole stadium depends on what happens in the Holte.
It's the noise and vocal support of the club.
It's like a heart pumping blood to its body.
When you score at Villa Park, it's always special, but scoring there's even more special as a Villa player.
Everything in your life you forget about. You feel every kick, you feel every shot, you feel every tackle.
We always end up kicking off, with the whole end behind us. As a centre-back, I can hear the support, hear the crowd, and, really gets us going.
You finish the game, you're tired, you've been part of it, you're the 12th man, it's family, everyone here is family.
An old cowpoke went riding out one dark and windy day. Up on a ridge he rested as he went along his way. When all at once a mighty herd of red-eyed cows he saw, a-plowing through the ragged skies and up a cloudy draw. Yippee-yi-yi. Their faces gaunt, their eyes were blurred, and shirts all soaked with sweat. They're riding hard through kits that hurt, but they ain't caught them yet. 'Cause they got to ride forever on that range up in the sky. All horses snorting fire.
Go higher, wee John.
As they ride on, hear their cry. Yippee-yi-yi. the gold stars in the sky.
Welcome back to Matchday Live for our build-up for Aston Villa versus Crystal Palace. Now on Friday, we got to find out who Aston Villa will be playing in the UEFA Europa League draw. So, in case you missed it, going through, we have Aston Villa versus Bologna on the 25th of September. Feyenoord, Aston Villa travel to on the 2nd of October. Go Ahead Eagles, so we're heading back to Holland then, on the 23rd of October. Aston Villa versus Maccabi Tel Aviv. Then Aston Villa versus Young Boys, windy out here, versus Young Boys. And then Basel, Aston Villa, Fenerbahce, Aston Villa, and Aston Villa RB Salzburg. Alan, what do you make of it? What were your first impressions?
Well, delighted because we've beaten Bologna and Young Boys already. Bologna want a little bit of revenge. Feyenoord away is a toughie. I played there long time ago. Boy, was it hard. Go Ahead, I think it's a wonderful thing. One for us. The Maccabi one, I'm just delighted. Obviously, the game's at Villa Park. Basel away. Fenerbahce away. Has he just lost his job?
Yes, Mourinho's gone.
Mourinho just lost his job.
Got sacked
so that'll be
yesterday.
new manager. And Salzburg at home, which I'm a little disappointed because Salzburg is beautiful and I thought we were getting a little trip to Salzburg. But listen, in terms of the draw, okay, we're not in the Champions League. We take it on the chin. I like it. I like it a lot. The manager has a history in this competition, and we just go along with whatever what he does and what teams he picks against whomever. But I think the draw's been really kind to us. I really do.
Elmo, you were there for the draw. How was the whole occasion?
Yeah, it was great. It's a great experience. Third time now. Been there before in the Conference League, Champions League last year, and this year it's always to be there. See some old faces there. So. Yeah, it was good. It's a good draw for us. Some spicy teams here, by the way, especially for Fenerbahce away. It's going to be spicy for everyone, especially for the fans. But we're looking forward to it. Some good teams there. Feyenoord been experienced in the Europa League before as well. Salzburg, but Young Boys, Bologna, we played them before. Here at Villa Park, Bologna, Young Boys were away. So it's good for us. Yeah, it's going to be a very good competition to look forward to. We got a great manager who hold the records, the most manager who won it. So everyone is looking at Villa now, saying, okay, they got the manager, they got the players, so big name as well, Aston Villa. So everyone was looking at, we need to avoid Villa, because everyone knows Villa Park, and especially in European nights, is very difficult for them. So yeah, it's a good draw for us. So we're now exciting for the first game, Bologna at Villa Park.
It's been fascinating to see even just how the betting has been shaped up on the back of the draw, James. Aston Villa 5-1 favourites. We've got Nottingham Forest in second at 8-1. So it's predicting another all-English final, perhaps, but Aston Villa on the back of the draw in as favourites.
Yeah, I think English clubs and British clubs in general do well in this competition because of the strength of the Premier League. I think Villa come in as favourites because of how well we performed in the Champions League last season. And I think, like the lads have said, the fixtures have been fairly kind. Some difficult away games there with Fenerbahce and Feyenoord and the atmosphere that they'll bring, but I think certainly the home games have been very kind, and yeah, I expect us to go through from that quite convincingly, really.
Now, Elba, you were speaking about Bologna and the fact that Villa already faced them in the Champions League last year. This was one of a team a lot of Villa fans I know didn't really want because they wanted new teams, but they're coming back to Villa Park as well again on the back of a 2-0 win last year. How impressed were you with that performance? Yeah,
it was great, and I think we had them here last season, so we did very well against them. Not a bad team, it will give you a very hard game, but we did very well, Super John McGinn scoring. And to be fair, when the teams coming from the Champions League, they got this experience, so I don't think it's going to be easy, so looking forward to it. It's the first game in the European night, so everyone will looking forward to it. It's going to be a very good one.
Yes, like you say, it was some night then last year, and that's really when Villa marked a statement upon the competition. But of course, when we speak about Bologna, we also face Young Boys as well, James, again. Not on the AstroTurf at the Wankdorf Stadium this time around, we're at Villa Park this time. What are you expecting on the back of that 3-0 win last year?
Yeah, hopefully another similar result. I'm sure the lads will be very pleased that it isn't on the AstroTurf and it's on this lovely surface that we have here at Villa Park. And yeah, when do we play them?
27.
About 4th game. So
November.
yeah, hopefully by that point we will have had some good results in the competition. And yeah, I wouldn't imagine it's a task that the young boys will be looking forward to, having been beat on their own stadium and having to come back here.
At some of the games as well. I mean, apart from the Feyenoord and Fenerbahce away, depending on what kind of state we're in at them, we'll be favourites for every game, by the way. We'll be favourites in the big guns in the group.
Is that a positive, or what do you think?
Well, I'm happy to carry it on my shoulders as a player. When you arrive at places and you're like, hey, you know, Villa's in town here, you know, you're coming to Villa
You surely
Park.
do puff up your chest a bit, don't you, if you know that you're favourites?
100%. And by the way, that's when the manager finds out a little bit more about his players in terms of who can cope with the pressure of, you know, being a favourite, expecting to win again, making sure you do the right things at the start of the game, which is incidentally something we have to do tonight. But I think, like I said, I think the draw's been kind to us. There's a couple up there that's going to be tough for us, but I still expect us to be, you know, in a really good position after 8 games.
And of course, one for the Villa purists, going to the De Kip Stadium again. We're going back to Rotterdam, of course, for Feyenoord, for the scene of the Europa.
It's 2 away trips, you know. So.
But how good is that though? To lift the European Cup in 1982, now for the nostalgia to head back to Rotterdam again, Elmo.
Yeah, it's good for the fans, you know. I think the fans really enjoyed it the last couple of years, traveling around Europe, you know, especially last year in the Champions League, some nice places. So we're back again to Holland, had some good results there, you know, against some teams there. So I think the players now got some good experience playing in the Conference League, playing in the Champions League, now in the Europa League. So I think third time might be lucky for us, you know, playing in Europe. And like I said, the manager is very important as well, you know, he's so experienced in this competition. Like I said, you know, he holds the records, the most manager won it. We'll give this experience to the players, you know, playing Thursday, Sunday won't be easy again, you know, so you need to rotate the players, you need to rotate the squad. So I think we got the right man for it.
And as you say, the experience, and James, Emma makes a really good point there, because of course for the last couple of years it has been a new format in the European competitions with the league phase. Is it something that you enjoy? Do you like the new modifications?
I think so. I think it took a little bit of understanding from myself to work out how it all happened. I think what Elmo's saying about the manager's experience is, I think it's really important, because some complacency could come in having played in the Champions League last season and dropping down into the Europa League. But I think his record in this competition and how serious he takes it will you know, pass on to the lads when they come to the fixtures.
That's it, because Alan, as we've just been saying there, for the Europa Conference League and then for the Champions League last year, we're going for another different competition this time around, but this is the one that Unai Emery holds a record of winning, lifting the trophy 4 times.
And that again is the reason why I think you said we're 5-1 to win it. It's not just because they've got a really good squad and we've got a good group, it's because of the manager and obviously his track record in the competition. With teams, incidentally, that he wasn't expected to win the competition with. All of a sudden now, as favourites for the competition, we'll be disappointed if we're not there at the end game. So Europe is a position that Aston Villa as a football club, under a global footprint that we've been building for 3 or 4 years, is exactly where we want to be. Okay, Champions League would have been lovely. The Europa League it is, and we deal with that. You know, and the manager obviously will make sure that everybody's ready to rock and roll. It's an opportunity. Listen, as a football player, when you get the chance to play in Europe, it's a wonderful position to be in. And the guys have got not something to prove, I think that's wrong, but certainly in terms of carrying the weight of an expectant Aston Villa crowd on their back when they're in Europe in the Europa League, then that's when we'll see just exactly what they're made of.
Really looking forward to the competition getting underway for Aston Villa on the 25th of September with that home fixture against Bologna. Plenty more build-up to today's game, though, on the back of this.
Villa Park, atmospheric and awash with anticipation. Well, how good does this place look? Well, there's an atmosphere to soak up and savour, and how Villa Park has yearned for these nights like these.
Welcome back to Villa TV and to Matchday Live. Just as I was about to say, it's starting to brighten up again. The rain has all of a sudden hit down. No sooner did we get rid of our umbrellas, but we're happy to be here. We're happy to be bringing you today's game. Now, since we last spoke to you, Morgan Rogers was crowned the PFA Young Player of the Year for the 2024-25 season on the back of a stellar campaign that he had last year, James. Everyone now knows who Morgan Rogers is.
Yeah, I think it's congratulations to him. It's a wonderful achievement that he's been presented, but it's well deserved for the form that he's shown last season. I can't imagine it coming to this club and playing as many games as he has done so quickly and doing that so well. Perhaps was in his mind when he first signed, but yeah, he's a staple of his team now, and his quality's there for everyone to see, and it's someone I really enjoy watching.
8 goals and 10 assists, Elmo, that he got last year. Yeah. He really burst onto the scene properly.
Yeah, fully deserved it. He's been sensational. Absolutely joy to watch last year, playing in Premier League, Champions League. He's been absolutely fantastic. Fair play to the manager as well. He helped him a lot. Coming from Middlesbrough to Aston Villa, it's not easy step for him. From the Championship to the Premier League mid-season is not easy. So it takes him a little bit of time, couple of months to get going. But last season especially, when he starts going, he's been in England squad now, he's playing very well, so needs to start again. This season it's been a slow start for him, so he needs to start kicking again, but he's absolutely, fully deserved it. Absolutely fantastic for him.
Alan, talk to us through that. When you're a player who bursts onto the scene, you're an unknown quantity to a large extent. Of course, you're then a danger man. Yep. Everyone tries to suss you out. Do they get to that point of sussing you out and then you've got to go again? Or is this kind of a tricky transitional period for him?
No, he has to carry it on his shoulders. He has to grow a character within himself to drive himself on to be even better. It's a wonderful accolade to get. When I was younger, I never got the Young Player of the Year, which I would have loved. Didn't get it. And for him to be in a position that not only was he given that accolade, but he's also in the next England squad as well, I think is terrific. But it's down to Morgan now. It's down to him to make sure his progression keeps going and he does the right things. There is nothing better. I've been on this for ages now, and I've spoken about Morgan Rogers as if he was my love child, for God's sake.
You have.
Because I think he's so good, but I think he's still got more to give us. I think he's still got that driving power from the middle of the park. He's learning all the time, and this is a big season for him. And I'm dying for him to keep going and keep going in the right direction. 8 goals means I want him to get 10. Yeah. 10 assists means I want him to get 12. It's that kind of position. And he's in a position where we love to watch football players driving at defenders, coming late into the box, getting goals. I mean, I can't be any more excited about it. But he's a wonderful young man with a great chance to be a really big football player at this club. And it's down to him. I think Elmo's right. I think he has had a little bit of a stuttering start. And that happens. Of course it does. Well, this is a great opportunity tonight to kickstart the whole thing, and him showing everybody just exactly why he was a Young Player of the Year.
It was very funny actually when we spoke to him on the podcast, and do make sure to go back to Villa TV to catch Morgan Rogers' podcast, but when he was kind of saying to you and saying that you get after him and you tell him that I want more out of you, I want more, and him kind of saying that sometimes he's exhausted, but at the same time he said that's what really drives him on, and it is that ambition and that drive which you need to have to be playing his position.
And the likes of Gassan coming in and Donny Mallon, and especially John McGinn in the middle of the park, pushing him forward and saying to him, come on, let's go. This is Aston Villa. So listen, he's done fantastically well. I can't give him any more glowing accolades. It's now down to him to make me excited about this season again, and it's only Morgan that can do it.
James, do you want a quiz? Do you want to know the other young Aston Villa players to have won this accolade. Can you name the 4 of them off the top of your head? In fact, do it as a team effort. There you go. Okay.
Andy
Put
Gray.
your hands
I
up.
have one.
Yeah.
I have one. James Milner.
Yes, James Milner.
Andy Gray.
Yes.
Yes, there's 2.
He come down from Dundee United.
Yep, there's 2. Play along at home.
Come on, James.
Gareth Barry?
No, it was not. Oh, yeah, there
Ashley
you go.
Young, yes.
Ashley Young, and we're missing one more.
Shawsey.
Yes, there you go.
Gary
Shaw.
There
you go, exactly. So there you go. So Andy Gray, Gary Shaw, Ashley Young and James Milner to have also won the Young Player of the Year award. So from all of us here at Aston Villa, a huge congratulations to Morgan Rogers.
Not many players possess this amount of skill and that pace and that power, and it's so difficult to stop. It just was unplayable. He was absolutely magnificent.
Morgan Rogers. And what we're seeing from this guy...
And what we saw last week, by the way.
And what we saw, it's a little bit wow.
For me, Morgan Rogers reignited my passion in football. But I was just like watching Gascoigne in the late 80s.
You know, I just love watching him. I love watching players with pace. I love watching players who want to take players on. No one can stop him.
Rogers again, has a shot again! Scores again! That's some hits!
Rogers! What a goal. There's that celebration. Taken by Rogers, finished by Rogers.
Yeah, congratulations to Morgan Rogers. Now, as always, our gaffer, Unai Emery, sat down with the press to preview today's game.
My expectation is, again, we are with the ball, they are going to push us, they are going to get a lot of man-to-man. When they are in medium block, they are very, very dangerous in transition. We have to stop the transition. We have to try to dominate, but being well organized always with the ball, even without the ball. When they are without the ball, they have 2 fullback so aggressive, playing so high and getting our box as well. They have 3 players in attacking third, always dangerous. MATCHDAY, always he's playing fantastic against us. And they have their structure with 3 central backs, so strong central backs, 2 midfielders as well. They are trying to get duels with our midfielders. More or less, this is the match we are going to watch on Sunday. And how we can perform, knowing them. Of course, they know us as well very well, and they can as well prepare the game plan more or less in the same circumstances we played before, but we have to try to change the result we didn't achieve last year.
Yeah, great to hear from Unai Emery there, and we will be hearing from him again a little bit later on in the show. But of course, in this part, he was talking about Oliver Glasner, how organised they are, and how good Villa need to be with and without the ball. It's that structure conversation again, James, that is just being bounded about the Premier League at present.
Yeah, I think the semi-final was evidence of that, how well they were without the ball. They all knew the game plan down to a T, and with the threats they have, you know, in the top 3, like the managers touched on there. Yeah, if they can soak up that pressure, they've got the pace to hurt teams on the counter, and especially coming away from home to places like this, the formation they play, it does suit that. But knowing the manager and how he is and how he likes to prepare, I can't imagine the form that Palace have over us at the moment sits well, and I imagine he has something in store for the game today.
Just go back into that quickly about their structure, because we talk about Villa and how they occasionally struggle against, well, the low block, but they play sort of a middle to low block, back 3. What is it about their structure that makes them so difficult?
I think just having the extra man in the back of the pitch, and you do play a low block or mid to low block, the space is in short supply, so yeah, it's a difficult formation to play against, but I think with the team the managers picked today and the pace that's in there, I imagine some runs in behind to unsettle that will be a factor. And yeah, it's just about trying to unsettle the back 3 or back 5 when they are sat in that low block to have some creativity.
And Alan, James just talks there about the transition as well and how quick they are in transition. We've seen them hurt Villa a few times with that.
There was only one thing we should have taken out of the interview there, was he talked about their fullbacks, their wing play. Tyreek Mitchell and the boy, is it Daniel Munoz?
Yes, Munoz. Munoz had a very good game here last.
I mean, the manager said it twice. He talked about them in wider areas, And he said about getting in our box, their fullbacks in our box. So whether they play the 3 defenders and 2 wing backs or 4 at the back, and they want to get forward. And the danger comes from those wider areas for sure, because that's where Philip Mateta a couple of times got in actually from those wide areas, getting in behind us, and he played really, really well. So I think that's what the manager's worried about a little bit, and maybe the fact that why he's picked the team he's picked today is to try and snuff out some of that. Regardless of how deep they defend or how high up they defend, we need to make sure, if I'm playing against a player, I want to make sure I'm better than him, regardless of how they play. But the manager spoke hugely about their fullbacks, and that's somewhere we need to make sure we keep them quiet, because they were very, very good against us last year in all the games, Kate.
Yes, that's exactly it, isn't it? And we have seen that from them. For all that their record actually at Villa Park isn't very good in terms of wins as such. But again, we say about it every single time, and it feels like we've previewed Crystal Palace more than any other team, Elmo. But every time Unai Emery speaks about the opposition, he speaks about his opposite number, Oliver Glasner. How good is he as an operator?
Yeah, he's a very good manager, and he used the system that suits the players, you know. In this system, I played in this system alongside James, you know. 3-4-3, 3-5-2, whatever you want to call it. It's very hard to play against, you know.
Can you just tell us a little bit more about what that is actually like from your perspective?
Yeah, you know, we were playing in the right-hand side. James playing as a right centre half. I was playing like as a right wing. He gives me a lot of stick, you know, to just not go forward. Yeah, not go forward. But you have to have, you know, you have to have 2 wing backs, you know, very quick, can go forward and can defend, you know, and this makes it successful for your system. So Palace manager got these players, you know, 2 wing backs are very good at this system, you know. With Izzy last year and Ismail Assar, they make it more dangerous going forward, and they got a very good striker, Mateta, you know, a lot of crosses coming. You see the goals we conceded in the FA Cup semi-final. So the manager played against this system a few times now, so I understand how difficult to break them up. So I think, you know, it's going to be a very hard game for both sides tonight, you know. You're not going to see so many goals, you know, for this game tonight. But hopefully for us, you know, we can nick one and just nick the 3 points, because this is the most important thing for the game tonight, is the 3 points for us.
That's all we want, really, isn't it? Like I say, if it's a nicking a goal win, I will not be complaining whatsoever. Talk about Palace's summer, because again, we've been focusing in on Aston Villa's summer and sort of a lack of transfers. They weren't even able to enjoy their summer, really, because of all of the complications over them being demoted to the Conference League, because of the multi-club ownership and all of the UEFA rules that follows that. So it hasn't been easy for Palace throughout the summer. I'm
not going to go deep into another football team, but I think they were very, very hard done to, genuinely. I think it's... Yeah, I'm not going to talk about it. I just think they were hard done to. It's not been an easy summer for them. The fact that they're waiting to see where they can pitch their football club. All of a sudden they think they're in a Europa League and now they're playing in the Conference League. I mean, it's still a European competition, but it will hurt Palace when they go in to try and sign, you know, Ronaldo, Pele, Maradona, whoever it might have been. Do you know what I mean? So that's been a tough on them in the summertime for sure. But nevertheless, I think they knew they were going to lose a couple of players, and to bring in other players has been tough for them, the way it has been for us. And by the way, they've got a player playing for them tonight that this might be his last game. You just don't know.
So it's against us.
Well, exactly. And Mark Gahey is the player I'm talking about, because Liverpool have made a bidding for him. So it's been a tough summer for them in terms of who they can bring in and even know what their future was 2 weeks in advance, whether they were going to be playing somewhere because of this, you know, multi-ownership thing, which I just think was very, very hard on them. But regardless of that, we also have to remember how they played against us last year and make sure that doesn't happen again. Disregarding the semi-final of the FA Cup, more so the league game and the cup game here, because they beat us in the cup as well. So,
were we at full strength there, though?
Well,
is it fair to
possibly
say?
not, but it would still be as a player. Yeah. That would hurt me, and make sure that doesn't happen again.
There you go then. And James, just again to go in on Palace again, they've played 4 games in 10 days now. They've only just got back from Norway after that draw against Fredrikstad. So of course they go through in the Conference League, but this is all of a sudden asking a lot for a team that have not played more than just Premier League football for a long time.
Yeah, I think that's the thing for teams and clubs who are new to European football. And that's when the strength in depth that Villa now have, because they've competed on that front for 2, 3, 4 seasons now, is vitally important. And like Alan said, the uncertainty over what competition they would have been in has probably affected how they've brought players in as well. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they do, how Forest and teams like that do through the season with the squads and playing in European football for the first time.
I'm just glad that we're not having to face them in the Europa League, to be honest. If it was a Villa Palace final, goodness me, God help all of our nerves. Right, but we talk about the fortress of Villa Park. I'm going to get your guys' opinion on the fact that Villa are now 19 games unbeaten. But of course, as always, Unai Emery sitting down with the media, discussed this run.
And really, we are feeling strong in Villa Park. And playing in Villa Park, I am feeling really, really happy with our supporters. And we are feeling strong as well with the energy we are creating and we are building in Villa Park. And these consequences coming with the good result. And of course, on Sunday against Crystal Palace is our challenge to keep it one match more. And of course, we are even being demanding because we are unbeaten, but we draw more matches than we wanted. Even the first match we played this year against Newcastle. Of course, Crystal Palace is our challenge and is again our motivation with our support in Villa Park to try to get those 3 points and continue unbeaten, and of course, building the team.
Yeah, of course, Unai Emery very keen to have that run extended. And it has been over a year now since Aston Villa were beaten at home in the Premier League, Elmo. Arsenal last year, if you can remember that, cast your mind all the way back to the first home game of last year, when Villa were arguably the better team on the day anyway.
Of course, yeah, we didn't deserve to lose that game, you know, and I thought Morgan Rogers, you know, was man of the match in that game as well. We would have been fantastic. So, but you're talking about a record, you know, over a year now at Villa Park has been sensational, absolutely. It's a momentum and you need to keep that going. As a manager, as a player, you know, you need to keep that going. And to be fair, you know, a lot of big teams are coming here, especially as well, you know, Man City, the likes of Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea coming here, and, you know, you don't get beat against them. It's fantastic. And as well in the Champions League, coming here, Bayern Munich, Juventus, and beating them, it's absolutely fantastic. So, yeah, you need to keep the momentum going. I know it's Palace today, but, you know, we need to keep this momentum going.
James, talk to us about momentum. How key is it? Actually put us into the minds of you players, and just how much confidence does it give you?
A huge amount. I think, you know, it shows how confident the players are with, like Elmo says, the likes of Bayern Munich and Juventus coming here, and Liverpool, Man City, and you can see that the lads are going into the game believing that they can win and get results against opposition like that, and that does come from the momentum, that not how well they play at home, and the atmosphere that comes with that. It's something that they seem to really relish, and it's a big factor.
Yeah. For all Alan, we talk about there's a slight down, underwhelmed. I'm not entirely sure what feeling it really is amongst the fan base. I don't want to speak on behalf of the fans here by any means. But when you actually look at that, 19 Premier League games unbeaten at Villa Park, it really has become a fortress.
Brilliant. It's exactly what you need to do if you're going to be a successful football club. As your home games are vastly important, and obviously away when you're reformed, you can pick up bits and pieces, but it's going to be much harder. But the fact we've gone that length of time, it gives you something to remember about and build upon. And the manager just spoke about a challenge. It's a challenge against a team we didn't do well against last year, but a challenge to make sure that changes, and also nothing changes in the terms of somebody coming to Villa Park and going away with a tail between their legs. So the guys know exactly what they've got in front of them tonight. The opposition's going to be tough, but we have something else as an extra added bonus for us, that as we make sure we keep that record of over a year not being beat at Villa Park in the Premier League. And
we've seen this before, haven't we? The fact that we had a run of 15 straight wins the season before last. Elmo, we know when Villa really get on a roll and they create almost this consistency at a venue, at Villa Park, at wherever, then it tends to stay true.
It comes down to the manager and the players, you know, who made that, and of course the fans, absolutely fantastic, supporting the team. The atmosphere they create, you know, in all over the games, it's been absolutely sensational. So you need to keep that going. You need the momentum going, you know, keeping your home records going. It's not easy. It's going to be difficult, but keep it as long as you can, and make Villa Park, you know, like you said, it's a hard place for any team in the world to come here. We're talking about big European teams coming here. Bayern Munich would beat them. Juventus would draw against them. We beat PSG here as well, you know, who won the Champions League. The likes of Liverpool, Man City, so you need to keep that going. The momentum is very important to keep that record going at home.
Psychological thing, incidentally. You know, when we were playing and we went away to the likes of Liverpool or Arsenal or Man United or something, and you're reading bits and pieces and you're like, you know, they haven't been beaten in 25 games, you're like, well, I'll have a go at this, and then you realise how difficult it is. And we need to make sure that that's something Palace think about tonight when they come out thinking they don't get beat at Villa Park. And let's make sure we have them reminding themselves when they get on the bus and they're heading back to London tonight that they haven't managed to do that.
How key are the fans, James? Are the fans of the atmosphere? Is it something you pick up on, no matter what the current mood is? How key are the fans?
Oh, incredibly important. I think Villa Park sometimes a tough place to play. Things aren't going particularly well. But on the flip side of that, when you're on a run of 19 games, there's a huge belief around the whole place, and you can feel that when you come into a game at Villa Park. And with 19 games unbeaten, I think the fans are a huge factor of that, and there's a real confidence and belief in the squad and the manager that's here.
They're massive tonight because there'll be parts of the game tonight that just doesn't go our way, and that's when you need them.
Yeah, of course, and the manager spoke about that in the press conference. You know, you need the fans behind you, especially in maybe some difficult times in the game. You need the fans behind you. You need the atmosphere, absolutely electric. You saw it last year, especially Champions League nights. Premier League nights, it's a night game today, so the atmosphere will be electric tonight.
I think our fans get it, Kate. Sorry to interrupt you. I think our fans get it. Yeah. They know how important they are, and they know how important this game is. They will be behind the lads tonight, because I'll guarantee you can't have the ball for 90 minutes, and it's in those little times in the game that you need to make sure they are absolutely right behind you. Making little mistakes, chance missed, etc., etc. That's when you need the lads behind you.
And it's been fascinating to hear Unai Emery as well in the press conference, because we're kind of used to, we do this show every single home game, so we always watch his press conferences, always go through them, and it always kind of follows a very similar path, which rightly so. It's Unai Emery. He's very, very he just plateaus with his emotions. There was a real sticking point, as Almo said there, throughout the press conference, where it was a constant reference to the supporters, a constant call upon them to be that extra man. How important do you think that is, the fact that the manager is even calling upon the fans?
Yeah, I think for Unai to say that and realise the importance of them, I think saying it in the press is clever, because a fixture at 7 o'clock on a Sunday night is probably not the ideal time for everyone. So I think Alan's right. There may be a lull in the game at times today, and it'll be super important for the fans that they can drag the lads through that.
Right, the players are out and warming up, but plenty more build up on the back of this advert break.
Villa Park, atmospheric and awash with anticipation. Well, how good does this place look? Well, there's an atmosphere to soak up and savour, and how Villa Park has yearned for these nights like these.
Welcome back. Something else that has become a theme every time we play Crystal Palace is the fact that we get pelted when the keepers are practicing that. I do every single time. So yeah, if you see that coming in, make sure to clip it up and you might get 250 quid. What a throwback that is, goodness me. Welcome back though, Aston Villa versus Crystal Palace as we continue our build up to tonight's game, a 7 p.m. kickoff on a Sunday. But we're going to go through the teams again, starting with Aston Villa, just in case you've missed it. Marco Bizot in goal, Matty Cash at right back, Ezri Konsa comes back in following his suspension that ruled him out of the Brentford game, alongside Tyrone Mings in the heart of defence, John McGinn our captain, Yuri Tielemans, Ollie Watkins up top, Donyell Marlon likely to be playing out on the right, Ian Maatsen at left back, Morgan Rogers and Evan Gesson. We're waiting to see exactly who plays on the left and who plays in the 10 between those two. And Crystal Palace, we have Dean Henderson in goal, Daniel Munoz, Tyreek Mitchell, Maxence Lacroix, Mark Gahey gets his start here despite all of the transfer rumour that is surrounding him at present. Ismail Assar, who of course has been dominant against Villa for the last few meetings. Jean-Philippe Mateta, the danger man. Kamada, Will Hughes comes back into it after his injury that has ruled him out of last game. Adam Orton and Chris Richards. So again, lads, just to reiterate your thoughts from earlier on, how are you feeling now, Elmo, about Villa's lineup?
Yeah, very good. You know, as the attacking side, which is good, good to see. So we need to start the game well. We haven't started the games against Newcastle and Brentford well. So first 10, 15, 20 minutes is very important. You know, you need to come out quickly and then attack them quickly. The starting lineup will go a lot of attacking players. You know, it's good to see Malin starting today. Like I said, he's having a great pre-season. So hopefully will score a goal tonight to give him more confidence, because he's been on fire and scoring a lot of goals. But John McGinn in the midfield with Tielemans is very important for us today, because Palace got a really good player in that midfield, coming from the midfield to attacking side, which is Ismail Assar. Is very dangerous. We need to keep an eye on him with the talking with Konsa back to the starting line today, and big Tyrone Mings against Mateta. He's very dangerous, man. He's relying on crosses, so we need to stop crosses. Maatsen and Kashi need to stop that crosses coming to the big man Mateta. So yeah, hopefully a good start for us, and then like I said, we need to come out quickly and start the game well.
It's interesting with Tyrone Mings, isn't it? Because, of course, he didn't play the semi-final at Wembley against Crystal Palace. And I remember, James, at the time, loads of fans were calling for Tyrone Mings at that point. But, of course, we know he did have a little knock at that time. But people were calling for his physicality that day. Wasn't to be, but he gets to start this time around.
Yeah, I think it's easy to say things like that.
Hindsight is a wonderful thing, yeah.
But I think I spoke about that on this show before, when we played against teams who are physically strong up front, and Tyrone's played, and I think he's the perfect fit for playing against opposition like that. And yeah, hopefully he handles Mateta this evening. But he's been a wonderful player for Crystal Palace in the last 18 months or so. So it'll be a good matchup today. It's something I'm looking forward to seeing as a centre half, and not one I'd particularly.
Not that you fancy yourself. No, not that you fancy taking on yourself. But it's interesting though, Alan, isn't it? And Elmo said there about Donyell Marlon getting his start. It almost feels like he's become the fans' player, because of course he was brought in January. The fact he missed out then on the Champions League squad, and it's just been a bit of a sticky time for him. But every time he's actually started, he has been fantastic for us.
Yeah, he's done really well. Genuinely done really well. I haven't seen him once look as if he was cheesed off or he had something to say that he wasn't happy about. He's just gone about his business. He's been good. I'm looking forward to seeing Gesson tonight. I want to see him from the start. I want to see him, you know, that elastic band just go boom, and let's hope he starts creating chances. And I expect Ollie Watkins to have a couple of really good opportunities tonight. I think the team itself, I think with the injuries, I think Elmo mentioned at the beginning, I think that's as strong as we can pick. And this is exactly a game for Tyrone Mings tonight. Yeah. Exactly. 1 against 1, winning battles, making sure the ball doesn't drop on the ground, going and attacking the ball, etc., and making a physical presence for us in the back four, and Konsa, you know, doing what he does, etc., etc. So yeah, it's yeah, I don't think there'll be many Villa fans unhappy with what they've seen in the lineup from the manager tonight.
Elmo, what have you made of Evan Gesson? What were your expectations? And I know we've only seen him very briefly, but from what we have, what do you make of him?
A very good player. He's very tricky, you know. He just take the ball and go against players, you know, taking them on. You know, you can see when he came on against Brentford on that left-hand side. Very tricky player. It will be hard as a full. Be careful. So it's very it's a good call.
No, not the quiff.
I'm glad I got my hair cut earlier on.
It's going to be a very tough as a fullback, you know, to play against a player like him because he's a very tricky. He's quick. He can take you on. So looking forward to see him tonight. So hopefully a good start for him.
He is a very exciting player, though, Alan, isn't he? When you see any, I don't know if you did, if you went back in and saw any of his games for Nice, but I was listening to a few things about him. I probably underestimated how physical the French league actually is. So when you come into the Premier League, it should really translate to the hustle and bustle we offer.
I think he'll know how difficult it is in the Premier League. I don't think for 1 minute he's coming in here blindfolded at all. He's already been training here. He's been playing against us, and that's kind of what we need. We need players to take the ball with them and drag it and beat a couple of defenders or cut inside and have a shot, etc., etc. And I think that's what he's got in his locker, and I think that's why the manager's brought him in, just to have that versatility on the left, on the right, or up top, depending on what way he wants to play. So, like I said, I'm looking forward to the game tonight, for goodness sake. I'm looking forward to us winning the game, but I am genuinely looking forward to watching him specifically on his movement and what he gives us, whether it's the left or the right or wherever he plays tonight.
It's something we spoke about last year plenty, was the versatility of Alan's front line. I mean, he is very versatile.
Thank you very much. sorry, Unai, but it's my front line.
Of Aston Villa's front line. And how Unai really seems to want to implement this and to be able to switch out. We see that with Donyell Marlin. He can play in the 9 if we really need it. A backup for Ollie Watkins. We've potentially got another with Gasson. Again, we talk about squad depth and the amount of games that they had to play last year. When you have players that can play in all these different positions, how key is that?
I think it's huge as a player. It gets you more games to be versatile and play in different positions, and for a manager as well, it helps how you recruit and then how you pick your team, how you pick your bench to know that players can play in more than one position. But I think the recruitment of Gasson is, really important with Duran leaving and then Asensio and Rashford loans leaving and finishing as well. I think it's really important that the club brought some forward-thinking players in that can create opportunities and goals.
And when PSR restrictions are so tight, you need versatile players. You don't have the luxury of having 2 players for every single exact position. And yeah, speaking of Fenerbahce and John Duran, of course, we're going to be seeing him again then, aren't we? So looking forward to that. Right, lads, we've got about 2 minutes left. So Elmo, before your predictions, just wait, I want to ask you, how key will it be if Villa can go into the international break with 3 points to their name and a win? What will the feeling be like?
Yeah, it's very important for the manager, for the players, and for the fans. Going to international break, it's a long 2 weeks. A lot of players going away, 15 players, are going away. So you need that confidence before you're going away. And as well, the manager will be thinking, the players will be thinking, when we're coming back from the international break, you got 2 hard away games. Everton, Sunderland, they starting the season absolutely fantastic. So you need that 3 points before you're going away to Everton and Sunderland.
There you go then. Right, lads, 1 more minute, so that's teed me up perfectly. We'll start from this end, shall we? Alan, predictions for tonight?
Aston Villa 2, Crystal Palace 1.
Oh, 1. Okay.
I want to see a strong performance from us tonight, Kate. I want to see us not being bullied, but us being the bully almost. Taking the game to them, because we know how they're going to play. They're going to think we can come and turn us over again. Yeah. I want to see real strength in tacklers, and I want to see us create lots of chances. That's what we didn't do against Brentford. We created some chances, but not an Aston. It wasn't like us. Let's get back to being Aston Villa at home, creating lots of chances and giving our forward line, Marlin, Gasson and Ollie Watkins plenty of opportunities. 2-1.
There you go, 2-1 then for Alan. James?
I think we should put a bet on, because I was going to say 2-1 as well.
Oh. There you go, you can have it. You can go 2-1 as well.
I'll go 2-1 as well.
Goal scorers?
I'm going, Ollie's going to get 2.
Okay, a brace for Ollie.
Both of them today, yeah.
Perfect. You don't have to give Palace his goal scorer if you don't want to. we probably know who it would be if it's going to be anyone.
Get 2.
Yeah. There you go then. Elmo?
I'm going 1-0 Villa with a clean sheet. Marlin to score.
Oh, wouldn't that just be perfect, wouldn't it? Well, lads, thank you so much for all of your time.
You,
and we will be back with our post-game show again, so make sure to join us for them. But your commentary team for today, Mark Regan alongside Jed Steer.
There are so many words, man. If I had to choose one, I'd say magic. Yeah, magic for sure.
The whole end, there's nothing like it. I think for a lot of people, football is a religion and the whole end is the church.
This is Villa. The fans expect us to win, and the whole end is the driving force behind that.
It represents the centre of the club.
The whole stadium depends on what happens in the Holte.
It's the noise and vocal support of the club.
It's like a heart pumping blood to its body.
When you score at Villa Park, it's always special, but scoring there's even more special as a Villa player.
Everything in your life you forget about. You feel every kick, you feel every shot, you feel every tackle.
We always end up kicking off, you know, with the whole end behind us. As a centre-back, I can hear the support, hear the crowd, and, you know, really gets us going.
You finish the game, you're tired, you know, you've been part of it, you're the 12th man, it's family, everyone here is family.